Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God. Back with you with the next video in the Modern Testament, the Book of Saints, Chapter 2. As my dad is the first saint of Narengelicism, it is only fitting that my mother, Ranjani Sridhar, be enshrined in this Book of Saints as the second saint of Narengelicism. Like my dad, my mom, Ranjani, was also born in India. On May 24th, 1965, my mom was born into the world, the daughter of Nagaraj and Priyadarshini. My maternal grandfather Nagaraj was a successful plant manager, and as such, he could afford to take his family on different train trips throughout India when my mother was a teenager. My mom loved to travel with her parents and her then brother Nataraj. I say then brother because when my mother was very young, her brother Nataraj, who by age 29 had become a doctor, died tragically in a motorcycle accident. This was devastating to my mother as well as her parents, as each of them loved Nataraj very much. Fortunately, my mother's spirits would pick up when she was in her 20s, because her parents approved of a marriage between her and my dad, Sridhar Raja Rao. Sridhar loved Ranjani sincerely and was always a loyal and loving husband to her. In time, they had their first daughter, Nupur, my sister, in 1989, and I was sent back to Earth to their household in 1993. In 1995, my dad accepted a job in the USA and our family moved there. My Amma had been a teacher in India, but under Sridhar's nurturing hand, she began to grow her career even more in the States. First, she worked as a bank teller. Then she started pursuing her master's in business administration. It was around this time, in 2009, when things were progressing well for her, that tragedy struck once again. A call came to my mother that both her dad and mom were killed in an automobile accident. My grandfather had a scooter that we would ride, and on that fateful day, Nagaraj had taken Priyadarshini with him, and both were hit by a truck. Priyadarshini died immediately, and Nagaraj was hurt badly. However, when he heard his wife was dead, he passed away also. Needless to say, this was devastating to my mom. She made funeral plans, traveled to India, and performed their funeral rites. When she returned to the States following the funeral rites, my mother kept on loving her family. In spite of the loss of her brother, dad, and mother, she continued to be a loving wife to Sridhar and a loving mother to Nupur and I. After that, she completed her MBA and took on higher paying jobs, working her way through the ranks to reach the vice president level. My mom will always be an inspiration to me. My dad was a strong provider, so she didn't have to work, but she had a drive to be the best that she could be, and this manifested in many ways. For example, she attended Sanskrit classes to improve her skills. She would cook various types of foods and desserts not just for our family, but also to grow her repertoire. And she was both a mother and provider, working difficult corporate jobs along with my dad to give my sister and I debt-free educations. What I remember most about my Amma is that she overcame those difficult losses in her life. First, the loss of her brother Nataraj, and then the loss of both Nagaraj and Priyadarshini. However, she didn't let these losses define her. Instead, she chose to do what they told her, which was to love her family and to be strong and keep going. And keep going she did. My sister Nupur ended up becoming a doctor just like Nataraj, and I became an engineer like Sridhar. My mother's love was an unforgettable part of my childhood, and I'll always be grateful to Sridhar and her for being my parents. Henceforth, every May 24th, we Narengelicals will celebrate Saint Ranjani Day, a day where we remember Saint Ranjani, the most loving mother the Spirit of God could ever have asked for.